Welcome back to Salt Lake City. We are here for the High School National Invite. We're here to watch Roosevelt play South Eugene for the girls' final. We're really excited because both of these teams have gone unbeaten this entire weekend, and they've both had incredible games. We can talk about we can take a look at the bracket really quickly in a second, and we're so excited. So we're excited to see them. Roosevelt is based in Seattle, and South Eugene is the winner from 2022, so they are looking to be back-to-back champions. Keith, what else should we know about the game today?
Well, this South Eugene team has been pretty dominant for almost 2 runs through High School National Invite. Save their semifinal against Green Canyon, but they got a little push late from Green Canyon, won that one 12-9. Roosevelt able to fight off Nathan Hale 15-12 in their semifinal, but had a similar dominant run as the #1 overall seed. I think there's plenty of reasons to believe that Roosevelt was the favorite coming into this tournament, but the way the teams have played this weekend, South Eugene has looked like the strongest team here. So I don't know really if you could say that either team winning would be an upset given the strength of these 2 rosters, and there are stars aplenty, Leah, in this matchup.
Yeah, I would say both teams are incredibly deep, especially South Eugene compared to Green Canyon, which had a much slimmer roster. But Roosevelt has Chloe Hakimi, who's a star. She's #1 on the team, roster jersey number, and she's someone to watch. And then for South Eugene, we have Ollie Bunsen. That's number 31. They are just a go-to player for South Eugene. But both rosters are incredibly deep and pretty large for a high school team. So I think it'll definitely be depth versus depth here.
And I think there's a couple different ways to look at depth, Leah. And one of the ways you can is how many top-end players do you have? Of the players who are going to play every point, how many of those players are you going to put out there each point? And both of these teams have a group that's going to go 6, 7, 8 deep of those players that are top-end players they would feel comfortable with in the most clutch situations. And Hakimi is obviously going to be, there's one of 2 Hakimis. Her sister Vivian's also on the team. Those players and the Gelfand sisters, Zaza and Chagall, are also big-time players for this Seattle team. While we saw in the semifinals on the stream, South Eugene was able to turn to Ellie Donahue, Fluffy Jones, and obviously then a big semifinal performance from Mara Hindry-Glasinovic. We are underway. We'll see which one of the stars are going to assert themselves early in this game.
So we have South Eugene on offense. That was Bunsen to Donahue, over to Hindry-Glasinovic. And it looks like Roosevelt's coming down in more of a poachy set, maybe a zone look, forcing some people under. But we have Hindry-Glasinovic with the disc again. Looks like they've rolled into a person. Over to Donahue. Donahue is someone you should look to for big throws. It's a little crosswindy here coming towards your screen, or I guess across the field. But that didn't phase South Eugene in the last game either. So Bunsen puts it up, and it goes out of bounds.
Yeah, not even the incredible receiving capabilities of Hindry-Glasinovic are going to be able to save that one.
Hindry-Glasinovic in the semifinal game scored 5 of the 12 points for South Eugene. So definitely someone who's looking to score.
Gelfand walking it up.
And it looks, they're going back where the disc went out. Trying to catch a glimpse at the defensive South Eugene, but it does look a little zony with a 3-3-1-ish. We have, so as Roosevelt works it through their handle set, they haven't found much downfield momentum right now. I think the zone is throwing them off. But that's some good running by South Eugene. Zones can be exhausting, and this is the, 6th or 7th game of the weekend for them.
Nice movement now for Roosevelt as they're finding some momentum and going towards the end zone.
There are 2 Roosevelt receivers there, but number 14, Corey, is able to knock it down.
Yeah, a great opportunity to throw a scoring throw, but just hung it up there, and easy knock away for the defender.
So Bunsen's picking it up again for South Eugene, over to Donahue.
Donahue still completely undefended.
Yeah, I think they're trying to do more of a wall defense or poaching off into those lanes, but Hindry-Glasinovic with the disc looking for Bunsen. That was a really tight mark by number 28, Gasper. And Donahue gets it under tight pressure. That was a great grab by 24, Kaufman. Yet again, I think Roosevelt's doing really tight person pressure, and they were able to force kind of a floaty up line that didn't really go to anyone.
Yeah, they were all over those cutters. There was not a lot of separation to be had for South Eugene, and you see them succumb to the pressure.
And it looks like South Eugene's also going into a match defense, trying to prevent maybe some downfield puts based on where the mark's setting up. But yeah, it looks like they're trying to get those downfield cutter momentum, but just some missed throws there. It was a miss by Lowe, unfortunately. So Bunsen walking it up to where the disc went out. We have Gasper on mark.
The reset here, forcing upfield cuts. But smartly, South Eugene finds their second option.
Yeah, that was some really tight match defense, especially by Gasper. Definitely not giving Bunsen the throws they want. Moran with the disc. To number 9, Mertz. To a strike by Chagall. Gelford.
That was a great curl cut from Gelfin to get into that reset space, but turnover is going to become a quick strike for South Eugene.
I think, yeah, that huck is something we saw South Eugene do in the last game. They have incredible throwers, and their receivers most of the time are there. I'm not sure if it's adjusting to altitude or being a little tired, but we saw some throwaways as Bunsen gets that throwaway.
This is where I think South Eugene is the most dangerous. When they can catch the D, they can really turn it into fast scores the other way, and that's exactly what we see.
That was a beautiful throw by Bunsen. And South Eugene, I believe, holds for the first point of the game is long, but I think they're pleased on how that turned out. That was Ramsdahl with the score.
Then a little teammate spike, a little alley-oop into the kick spike. Look, I think the kick spike's become a big part of Ultimate at this point, and I like to see a little new spin on it.
Sponsored by Aria. But yeah, you can see Bunsen getting that power position and just releasing a beautiful backhand to Ramsdahl.
Yeah, if you're, I've learned in briefly watching this South Eugene team, if you're going to turn it over, you should huck it too far, not too short. Because if you go too short, they're going to catch it, intercept it, and immediately turn it into offense the other way. And teams have trouble recovering. They did that a lot last year when we watched them win the high school national invite, led by Trout Waybright, who is just an expert at doing that, and is doing the same thing for Oregon Fugue this past college season. But that style of play has continued on with this team, and you can still see them. They're not quite as aggressive. They don't always have their foot totally on the gas, but when they get a chance to fast break, they're going to take it.
Yeah, that's exciting to see. And I mean, also with the huck and play D, if the disc goes too far, then it gives the defense, it gives them a chance to set up on defense, which is definitely an advantage. So we have Bunsen with the pull for South Eugene. We have Vivian Hakimi with the disc. And South Eugene's over on that far sideline. It's Snyder. Over to 13, Jacques Gelfand. And that's Zommers, with just a little too low. And South Eugene moves super quickly, picking that up and going. We have Hindri Glasinovic with the disc. Dumping it to Burris. Finds Bunsen. Just throws into traffic. That was number 1, Chloe Hakimi with the D. It was a really great read.
Nice approach block, and that has Roosevelt off to the races.
That was number 30, Leah Murphy with the throw. I think the wind caught it a little bit, and it didn't have quite enough edge on it to get all the way to the end zone. We have Burris picking up. With Bunsen in the middle. And it looks like South Eugene is running a horizontal stack. Roosevelt has poached off a little bit, which left South Eugene wide open in the middle.
Nicely punished. Just put your hands up, let the thrower know, and trust that your thrower's going to be able to find you.
Yeah, that was a great put. We have Jones with the disc. Back to Burris. To Bunsen, who was very patient in that handler space, really waiting until Burris looked at them. Hindry Glasinovic with the disc now.
Such secure hands.
To Burris, knocking on that end zone. Ooh, Bunsen working really hard, able to get it on the around. I think a pick was called, unsure though, haven't seen the hand signals.
You can see kind of this spaced out formation that South Eugene is in. I wonder if they will condense into a stack or if they'll stay wide. Or they'll just stuff it right in there.
Just score immediately. That's Kaufman with the score. And Kaufman was the player earlier who identified that they were poached off and was able to kind of unlock the downfield for South Eugene.
Yeah, Kaufman, who's maybe not as well known as some of the other players on the South Eugene team, has been an integral part of their success at this tournament and just adds more to that top end depth that we talked about earlier.
And so they are a lefty, so love to see that success out there. And yeah, we didn't see Kaufman much in the last game, but I know that they still make a big impact, just like the rest of this deep South Eugene roster. And so it is 2-0. That was a break for South Eugene. I'm interested to see how Roosevelt can answer. Looks like we're just having a little chit chat, but I mean, during that last point, it seemed that Roosevelt was playing very tight person D on the turn. But I'm interested to see if on any other turns, especially if they turn at this point, if they have any other defensive looks that they want to go on.
We saw Roosevelt in their semifinal matchup against Hale rotate through a variety of looks. I mean, they really have a full cupboard, and it depends on what spice they want to give you. And it's harder to do that when you're playing from offense. So when the other team is in control of the game, it takes away one of Roosevelt's strengths, takes away one of their ability to make the game their type of game.
Yeah, kind of control the tempo there. All right, Roosevelt. It looks like an ISO-ish. But Hakimi has the disc. I think there was a foul on the play.
Yeah, Hakimi, no space to pivot there. The young handler who's been playing sparingly through this tournament. He's played here and there. Perhaps nursing some injuries and has World Championships coming up very soon.
We have Vivian Hakimi with the disc. Oh, and just misses Chloe Hakimi. But love to see siblings play Frisbee together. I could never do that with my siblings, so I really appreciate that. We have Bunsen picking up on the end zone with an inside just to an open South Eugene player. That's number 2, a drone. Burris has the disc right now. He dumps it to Bunsen. To Jones, who catches it, gets a little bump and does a Superman instead. So that's 3 points in a row for South Eugene. I'm sure that they're very excited about this. They were able to generate a turn early and play some patient offense. So you can take a look again. There's Burris. To Bunsen. And just, yeah, a nice little insight to Jones.
I'm still searching for a name for that when you toe the front line of the end zone. So if anybody out there has something for us, you can tweet at me at @WilfieldHammer or however the many channels through which you can contact me. But I am still searching for a good name for when you toe the front line of the end zone for the score. But this is probably unfamiliar territory for this Roosevelt team. Do you think, I think it's very possible they haven't been down 3-0 all season?
I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, they're an incredible team with a lot of knowledge, so it is interesting to see such. I mean, also early turns for them. There was 3 or 4 throws in that last point before they turned it on that missed throw, and so I mean they started the first point on D, so that was not okay, but okay-ish. While they got broken 2 times in a row. This is an incredible team, and I don't think we've seen them really play solidly yet. I don't know if it's jitters or tiredness or just like that hour break between games.
And they'll have to get organized, so coaches Khalifa Salam and Kelly Johnson, obviously players with a ton of experience playing in high-level games, going to have this team well prepared. And having players like Chloe Akimi and Shigal Gelfand, who played on national teams, is going to give you more of that experience to lead on as a unit. And I wouldn't be surprised to see those kind of players be the core in which they settle themselves down by.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what kind of line they call, whether it is all the all-stars versus trying to maintain a consistent rotation to keep the hype up and keep legs fresh.
I do think this is the first time we've seen Shigal and Chloe, neither of which who I could call by their last name without it potentially being another person on the roster. I have yet to see them play together, I think, so they are both on for this point.
I'm trying really hard to call them by the full names, but I can there are numbers only on the backside of the jerseys, and so I have to really quickly identify those.
And for all the hype around Chloe Akimi, if you've never gotten a chance to watch her play, she has always delivered in my estimation. I mean, she's I think 15 years old and made the U24 team this year. I mean, that's unheard of. Not the under-20 team, which she also played on. The under-24 team.
We have Hakimi with the disc in the middle of the field while Roosevelt runs a vert stack. Kind of taking advantage of a handler poach. Jaja Gelfand was able to get it up, and that is, number 9. Lucy Mertz just bobbles it. That was so close, that was so good.
Yeah, exactly the right process on offense for Roosevelt. If you're Roosevelt, you feel really good about generating that opportunity, but it's Mertz who's going to have the heavy head after that, and I hope you can pick your teammate up at this moment.
Oh, and there's some tight defense there by number 7 Snyder, was able to generate the turn for Roosevelt. So they're back and get another chance. That's Zaza Gelfand. Over to Chloe Hakimi. Back to Gelfand. Back to Hakimi. They're just running some handler small ball right now. And Jaja Gelfand gets it on the up line, and that is the first point for Roosevelt. I think it was really clean and good stack management there. It meant that Gelfand and Hakimi had time to work together, time and space to work together to hit those up lines. But I'm sure they want to see cleaner stack management and more downfield momentum there.
Yeah, being in the red zone is all about managing a small space. You have less of a resource you're used to having a lot of when you have more of the field. And so making sure that space is clear for the people who have the advantage to use their advantages is valuable. And there, Roosevelt able to make sure that those handlers had the room to be threats to go up the line, which they obviously used to great effect. Zaza Gelfand, also only 16 years old. So she and Chloe Akimi, who are both 16, excuse me, I said 15 earlier for Akimi, but those two combining for the score, see young players with that type of skill level, it's just exactly what you come to high school national level.
It's absolutely bananas. But we can take a look at Salt Lake City. This is pretty similar to our view. I think this is our view from here. You get to see the beautiful Wasatch Mountains as well as part of our downtown. We talked about this earlier, but we are at a higher elevation, which means the disc flies faster and further. And it's about 80 degrees out with a slight wind, so beautiful for the observers, a little bit too hot and windy for the players. But yeah, we're excited to be here in Salt Lake. We have Zaza Gelfand with the pole for Roosevelt. Bunsen picking up to Burress. To Donahue, who uncorks to Hendry Glasinovic. And that is a score. That's a three-throw score. I think Roosevelt was trying to set up in a zone, but they weren't able to get set before South Eugene got moving.
Perhaps Freudian slip. That might have felt like a three-pointer, given that it came from so far away, and it did. when you finally get in the end zone and the other team turns around and just punches it in like that, it feels like it's worth more than just a single goal. I don't know if it was Donahue's intention for that to curve in that manner, but it worked out perfectly. The defender really had no chance at that, and it's pretty hard to find a throw that hindering Glasnova can't make her way to.
Yeah, yet again, I think that was her first point of the game, or first score of the game. She's been playing more points, but first score for Hendry Glasnovic, and yet again, a name that you will hear over and over for South Eugene. And she is one of their captains, so very excited for her.
South Eugene putting the pressure right back on Roosevelt, who would have loved to have a chance to. We talked about how their defensive versatility is one of their strengths, but if your defensive points last 3 seconds, how much does it matter what look you through?
Yeah, if you can't get set up in time to stop the play, then there really wasn't much defense going on in the first place, which I know is upsetting for a team that is which has such very defensive looks. And yeah, so it looks like, as we talked about, high school moves a little bit slower and give the kids a chance to rest and talk and reset for a moment. So I think we're still going on for the next point. It looks like Roosevelt's on the line, so just South Eugene trying to get set. We have a look at our fans here. We're so excited to see so many people out for this game. We know it's really important to the players as well as the people who have put so much effort into this event. I know South Eugene has a huge parent contingent here, so I know it's been really great to have everyone.
South Eugene caravan has come to High School National Invite twice, and they have been a full group. See some players going through the jersey exchange, making some swaps. How come no one's asked me to trade jerseys? I didn't actually bring them.
Get an Old Two World Keith Rayner jersey?
Yeah.
No, I mean,
I just need one of these kids to have my size.
yeah, I don't think so now.
I'll tell you what, I really like the South Eugene kits.
Oh, yes.
I would love to get one. I love the stained glass kind of look on the back. Big fan.
Yeah, South Eugene's kits look very nice. All right, so we have Hakimi picking up. It looks like South Eugene's coming down in a zone. It looks like a 3-2-1-1-ish. Trying to stop those deep looks. So they've already kind of trapped along the sideline. Zaza Gelfand with a beautiful inside to Hakimi.
Kind of an interesting approach from Roosevelt offensively. They have a bunch of players behind the disc and then cutters really far downfield. So the players who are in the middle layer of the zone are a little unsure. Do I play up to where these handlers are? Or do I drop deeper with where the cutters are?
That's a great point, and I mean, I'm sure for Roosevelt, very defensive looks are old hats. You have to practice them to get good at against them to get good at them. But South Eugene gets the turn,
and it's one of those bad turns that we talked about.
They're able to catch and go, and especially moving from zone offense, it's much harder to find your match as it going on to defense. But it looks like Roosevelt moved pretty quickly and adjusted, and now it looks like there's a call on the field. Of a discussion. I'm assuming it was some contact on the hit.
Okay, no contests on the violation. It'll be a hand-on-one.
All right, and disc resumes play. We have Jones with the disc. Oh, and that's some tight pressure from Roosevelt, and that was Barnett with the D. We have Gelfand over to Hakimi. To Murphy. Back to Hakimi. To Mertz. And it looks like, yeah, just a classic vert stack cutting pattern. Match defense from South Eugene.
I think Bunsen switching on to Chloe partway through, hunting for the opportunity to make that switch.
Oh, and it looks, that was a great grab by Chagall Gelfand, but yeah, there was a layout that caused some contact and some tripping. That's, it looks like Nelson is called an injury. There's a lot of contact there, I get that. But Roosevelt maintains possession. And it looks like Murphy is also taking a break for Roosevelt. And they're putting on Vivian Hakimi. So I'll do my best to differentiate. Vivian Hakimi with the disc. Over to Zaza Gelfand. Looking for Hakimi as a dump. Makes it happen. Over to Chagall Gelfand. With a beautiful round. Snyder with the disc. With a high release for the score.
Yeah, Snyder kind of trying to find what the next option was going to be, and it turns out that, much like the defense, she didn't even realize there was a wide open gunner on the break side, but ends up finding that look for the score. And just, there was, I think, a switch, and it didn't fully switch. One player switched and the other didn't.
Yeah, I believe it's Barnett with the score, number 2. Yeah, and she did the correct cut, kind of building on the momentum, and stayed in the area. No one picked her up, so yeah, great call out there.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you think the Gelfand Hakimi thing is hard, I'm lucky. We're lucky we didn't have to call one of the Summit girls games where they have the Melner triplets.
Oh.
And I'll tell you what, aside from one of them being left-handed, they really do look all the same.
I'm really working on all of the Roosevelt players wear different shorts, and so I'm doing a lot based on that right now. But no, that was a great point by Roosevelt. I think once they were able to generate that last turn, they moved together very quickly, and were able to make their lanes very clear. So they did a clear cutting pattern and a clear clearing pattern, which created a lot of space for them.
And we mentioned that South Eugene is the reigning champs, but this Roosevelt team went all the way to semifinals last year, played a really knockdown, drag-out semi against Lincoln that Lincoln got the better of them, and probably a little bit tired as they went in and struggled to compete and keep up with South Eugene. But so Roosevelt's a team who's had success at high school national invite. I'm sure they're glad to be in the final this time and get their shot at South Eugene when they missed out on that opportunity in 2022.
And so we have Donahue over to Burress, and it looks like Roosevelt is in a zone look. Trying to figure out their structure right now, but there are a lot of people running around. But we have Bunsen with the disc now. Looks like they've kind of crumbled into more of a person look. And wow, Hendry Glasinovic with the total line layout to maintain possession. We have Burress on the up line. Over to Donahue. I feel like South Eugene has been operating much more on the sideline than they did versus Green Canyon. So whether that's a comment on how good Roosevelt's marks are, or if they're a little bit tired for breaking the marks, I'm unsure. Either way, Roosevelt has the disc. Oh, never mind. So there was a bobble there by Moran. And now South Eugene is attacking. We have Burress there with the disc, moving around. And that is in. That was number 17, Chambliss, with the score. And that was an assist by Burress. It was a beautiful round to break the mark. So really challenging my break the mark comment. But yeah, I think they were able to really capitalize on the turn by Roosevelt that time and still maintain a hold. So the score is still 5-2. And I mean, I still think we got a game going. Like, I know Roosevelt started a little slow, but yeah, you can look at that just falling around by Burress. That was some really great vision there. And Lewis Chambliss just able to bring it right in.
And Roosevelt now 0 for 3 on their break chances. I don't think they've had a clean hold yet either. So really, they've just struggled to match the level of efficiency and intensity that South Eugene has brought thus far in the final. And
yeah,
they can't waste they can't continue to waste the opportunities that they get against a team of this caliber.
What I'll say is it looks like South Eugene is like having fun out there. So I think that's also something to comment on. It's been a long, hot day for them, and they're still able to have a little fun in such an intense competition.
To be fair, this team has won every game that I've ever watched them, often by a lot. But I've never watched them not have fun. So.
That's true. Whether that means just by winning or the people that are there. But we have Bunsen with the pull.
When I coached at Georgia Tech, we used to talk about it as a cycle. You have more fun, you win more, and then when you win more, you have more fun, and just keep it going forever.
So Jaja Gelfand over to Chagall Gelfand under tight pressure by Bunsen, who boosts it to Mertz, and it's just out of her hands. But that was a great play yet again. I think Chagall came just right out of the vert stack on the open side and was able, there was tight defense by Bunsen, but Chagall was able to bring it in. And yeah, it was a great look, just a little too far for Mertz.
Another great process turnover. I mean, Mertz gets wide open, you take the shot, and yes, I'm a big believer that you want good process because it leads you to good outcomes, but there's a point where process just isn't enough.
And so it looked like Roosevelt was set up as a tight mark on the handlers and then kind of a bracket setup zone for the rest of the cutters. And that worked out very well because Chagall Gelfand got the D. That's Hakimi crossfield to Mertz. Over to Snyder. Chagall Gelfand now. Over to Chloe Hakimi. Oh, with a zippy inside to Lowe, who is not able to make that grab. So we have Burris back with the disc. A very tight, rounded mark on Burris, but they're able to get the throw off.
Might recognize that name. Burris's father, Lou, is one of the coaches on this team and longtime coach of Oregon.
Oh, wow. So a great D by Bridget Barnett. Leaves Roosevelt knocking on the door. With North with the disc, or sorry, Lowe with the disc. And leaves Chagall Gelfand. Over to Snyder for the goal.
Wonderful red zone attack from Roosevelt, just streaking up the line. That takes the whole defense's attention one way, and Gelfand just steps around to throw the other way back against the grade for the easy score. And that's how you do the work with your legs and make the easy throws.
So here's Chagall Gelfand's D. Just beautiful, able to get up in the air. Make sure that Bramstall doesn't have a play on it.
A rare time, we've never called the game together, Leah, until today, but one of my big pet peeves is unnecessary ground checks. A rare time in which there was no ground check when there should have been.
Wow.
That game.
They did it for you. But yeah, then we have Chagall with an around, just to Hakimi. Oh, there's that inside to Lowe, just a little too fast, a little too unexpected. And then we have Burris picking up. Yeah, very tight mark by Jaja Gelfand. Yeah, so then we have Bunsen with the disc, who's able to just, it was a fantastic read by Barnett.
Yeah, and the scuba are just not on target.
And red zone offense is a little bit easier if you feel like you just came off defense. It's more like a treat rather than a lot of pressure, at least in my opinion. You don't have all that pressure building up.
Oh, as a coach, I'm a sucker for a great red zone session.
I was on a club team once where we ended every practice with 5 reps of end zone, and it was horrible. So, sorry, Bryce. But we have South Eugene picking up with the disc. It went out of bounds, so they're starting in the center at the brick mark. We have Bunsen.
We've got players sagging in the lane in front of Bunsen off of these handlers. So we're seeing another new look from Roosevelt.
Right, and it looks like they're trapping a little bit more sideline. But Kaufman's able to hit that inside to Bunsen, who just unleashes to number 28. Oh, just a little too far for Hunter. But yeah, they gave Bunsen the space, and Bunsen took it. Yet again, I think if they have any opportunity, they're going to take it. I also think they're very confident in their defensive abilities. And yet again, trying to force a team to work the whole field is much more difficult.
Chloe Hakimi in on this point for defense. And I will be surprised if we see another point in this game in which Roosevelt doesn't play either Chloe Hakimi or Chagall Gelfand.
Just a little too fast for Mats to bring in, but so we have South Eugene back on offense. Donahue with the disc. over to Bunsen, who hits a Hendry Glasinovic. Back to Donahue on that up line. And yeah, South Eugene's working really hard on that downfield. Hendry Glasinovic gets it on the under.
The Roosevelt defensive pressure has ratcheted up over the past couple points, but South Eugene able to weather the storm and walk it into the end zone.
I think if anything, it's making South Eugene's cutters even more efficient. I think they're cycling through things a lot faster because they know that there's such tight pressure on them, as well as making the throws very decisive. So yeah, it is 6-3, South Eugene up on Roosevelt.
And Dr. Keith here, and we've got the test results back, Roosevelt. You got a case of the dropsies, and we're gonna need some sort of cure-all for that because it has been a problem for them. They're getting open looks, and discs are just bouncing out of their hands. Sometimes it can feel like it's totally out of your control. And I think that when I'm in situations where I'm coaching teams that we're struggling with execution on that level, we really make it about focus and effort. Like, okay, even if we're not going to play perfect offense, if we're going to have trouble to execute, what we can do is work even harder. So we're creating more separation. We're playing better defense after the turn. How can we adjust the dial when our execution is at this level? How can we make up for that somewhere else? And one of the ways you can do that is through bringing a higher level of intensity and more effort to the field.
Yeah, I haven't necessarily noticed a huge energy change with Roosevelt. I think they definitely felt better after scoring their first point, but I haven't necessarily seen a huge hype play or anything to really get them going energy-wise. South Eugene with the pull. Gelfin to Hakimi. This is Vivian Hakimi. Over to Chagall Gelfin, who puts it up to number 2 Barnett and just over her head. And I think the deep looks are there for Roosevelt. They just are not hitting. And while South Eugene is not 100% on their deep pucks, it feels closer, and that just might be me. And so they're definitely going to keep shooting while Roosevelt hasn't seen much success on those deep looks. But they have seen success on their poach defense. That was a great D by Zaza Gelfand.
But Gelfand just totally locked in on the thrower, ready to react to that play.
And is able to get the bookends. That was Vivian Hakimi to Gelfand. Oh, they're very excited about that. That's great to see.
That looked a lot like a replay of the last time Zaza Gelfand was scoring in that front corner going up the line. Last time it was with Chloe, this time with Vivian as the assister sister. And for Zaza, I think that she has really leveled up this season, and that has been a big part of Roosevelt's success, is having Zaza play at a higher level and be able to take on more of these reps as one of the core members of this team. I think has really helped boosted Roosevelt and helped fill some of the holes for players who graduated last season.
Yeah, I mean, you see her down there catching the pole or centering or receiving that centering pass and directing players out there, which I love to see, just like a confident handler back. So we can take a look. There's Jones, and there's Gelfin's just beautiful poach. You know that she wanted it.
Yeah, I mean, she profiles to be an elite youth level player. I mean, I don't know if she's quite at that point yet. Obviously very good, but this is a player who I think we will be talking about as a top college recruit one day, as a potential U24 player. Like, she is on that trajectory at the age of 16.
Yeah, she's a sophomore. So incredible. And yet again, I think a true testament to Seattle's youth scene. They do have an incredible system in place where there are many opportunities for youth to play at various levels. And so they can move up and eventually play in those highly competitive teams and be ready to start from their freshman year or from their first year of club, if they want.
Yeah, there are a few powerhouses in all of Ultimate that can match Seattle Youth Girls Ultimate. I mean, that is a long-standing, established power, and it took years of work to get there. A lot of people sacrificed to help make sure that that community would be reinforced and supported, and it's paid off with just a number of great players and teams that have come out of that Seattle area. And I will say, they didn't quite have the standout depth at this tournament that they usually did. I think it was a great time for the rest of the community for the girls division, but they still put multiple teams in the semifinals and a team into the finals yet again.
Yeah, and I mean, talking about other powerhouses, I think Eugene itself is becoming its own powerhouse, separating itself from Portland even more so, and producing incredible talents like Trout Waybright, and now Ollie Bunsen, just like incredible players. And I think they've done a great job supporting their gender diverse players. And even though they have to play in the girls division rather than a full gender diverse division, we're so excited to have them here because they're incredible players and an incredible piece of the whole Ultimate community.
It's been a meteoric rise for this Eugene seed in the girls division. I'm very curious to see how it plays out in the long term because they have a lot of young, talented players that are coming up in a community that's really burgeoning.
So we have Donahue over to Bunsen, to Hendry Glasinovic. I'm really surprised Donahue didn't boost it earlier. Hendry Glasinovic was going deep.
I think we've only seen one huck out of Donahue this game, a far cry from what we saw in the previous game in the semifinals.
I want to see more. Oh, wow, a great contested grab by Donahue on that up line. Looks like there might have been a call.
Looks like they're talking about whether or not it was in bounds.
That's fair. It is on the far end zone.
Looks like they were trying to decide if it was on the field or out of bounds, which it looks like it is.
Nope, and it is in, and they waste no time. We have Kaufman in the middle of the field. To Hendry Glasinovic, not in.
Great reset defense.
Wow, a beautiful, inside out to Corey. It went around the Roosevelt defender, and it was just a beautiful put by Hendry Glasinovic.
Yeah, didn't even look phased by that situation. Just stepped out to the forehand side and delivered that backhand with reach and put it out in front so the defender couldn't even make a play on it, but with enough touch that it didn't zip away from the target.
Yeah, let's take a look at this throw again, because it was beautiful. And it's such, I would say, poise under a high stall situation. Yeah, that was Corey for the goal. Glasinovic padding her stats again, gets an assist.
So it's a pretty chill 3-goal lead for South Eugene. It doesn't feel like they've just dominated this game or had it in a stranglehold, but Roosevelt just has not been able to get anything going. And I think if Roosevelt can go into half down 2, I think that's a place where they'll feel good, because I think they would say that this has not been their best half of Ultimate by any means. So if they can be within shouting distance, they can feel like, all right, in the second half, if we just play better, we're going to be able to make up the difference. But they don't want to go into this half down 4, because even then, playing at their maximum level might not be enough to overcome the gap.
Yeah, and I think with this Roosevelt team, they have such a high ceiling, and so that's really what I'm looking forward to seeing, is if they can raise it and reach that high point right now. I feel like right now, there have been some execution errors. I mean, there's been good defense by South Eugene, but I think right now Roosevelt is really beating themselves. And we have Bunsen setting up for the pull for South Eugene. We have Vivian Hakimi with the disc. Over to Jaja Delphine. Wow, Chloe Hakimi saves the play. Definitely was not intended for her, and she's able to make that. And then a missed throw to Mertz. Mertz has been going deep, and Mertz has had some great throws that are just right over her head. So she's in the right place at the right time. We just need to hone those throws in a little bit more. But let's take another look at Chloe Hakimi.
Mertz getting the short end of the stick, doing the hard part of getting open deep, and no one's been able to deliver the disc except the one time, and then they did, and she couldn't get her hands on it. So
feed her. It looks like there was a stall call, or not a stall call, a call. So sorry, mix my hand motions up.
Looks like there has been a foul on the field.
Foul called. I'm assuming it's Jaja Gelfin has a very close mark and kind of curls her arms around the player, which is ripe for foul calls. Okay, looks like the disc is coming in at 1. Foul, no contest. They're still trapped on that sideline on that front cone. And oh, Gelfin got a hand on that, but still able to get it off to Bunsen. We have Ramsdahl with the disc up to Bunsen on that upline. And a low shot to Madrone.
Tough catch for Madrone, and discussion about whether or not they were able to make it.
I think, yeah, they're...
A call on the field has stopped play.
But you can also come to me for ruling.
I mean, my fingers like wet in the ground. Like there's dirt in my hands. Like dirt like the ground.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, you can go on. You can disagree, but you want to come to me. So okay, my ruling is down. Okay, so just put it down on the ground. That's fine right there. But don't move. Don't move. Don't move.
Disc was down. So it will be a turnover.
So
Roosevelt
Observer
will
ruled that disc down, but it was still a great grab by Madrone. It was a low throw already, and we have Hakimi picking up for Roosevelt. Over to number 7. We have Jaja Gelfin with the disc. Looking for an upline. Come on, Mertz.
We're all rooting at this point. I mean,
Into the sign. Oh, our hardest worker. That was a great grab by Mertz. It was unfortunately out of bounds.
Lucy Mertz has gotten open deep maybe 6 times this game and has yet to get a goal out of all that work.
And they're seeing her, which is just somehow even more upsetting. But we have Burris with the disc. Burris again. Able to get a downfield chunk throw with a big put. It is crosswindy up here, but looking for Jones. And there's a D by Vivian Hakimi.
Great body positioning by Hakimi against a bigger opponent. Able to get to the spot and make sure that opponents going to have to go through you if they want to take it.
And Jones was trying. We have Gelfin. Oh, and just Vivian Hakimi, I think, was thinking about her next throw. And Jones is taking advantage of it, going deep. Jones gets the disc, looking upline. Wow, a layout grab there. And a goal. That was number 23, Ramsdahl. That was a beautiful layout.
Brielle Ramsdahl with a exclamation point to end the first half. Getting down in the dirt for a full extension grab. That was a tough play, but Ramsdahl finishes it off and gives South Eugene a big 4-goal lead going to the break.
Yeah, wow. And I mean, that was a quick turn for Roosevelt, and then South Eugene is really just taking advantage of it. They're able to hit Jones, who puts it out. Wow, for the falling grab, layout grab by Ramsdahl. That was incredible.
Incredible play for South Eugene. They hold all the cards going into the second half.
School team, please come down to the center of the field. Once again, the lower
Years of college, I threw every single
please
day.
come down to the center of the
Of course you want to be a champion. Of course you want to be working toward winning titles.
Be happy, but never satisfied.
Better than ever.
by A.J. Larson.
So congrats, we are happy they won this award, and it means a lot as they represent fairness and competition and what is the best for this game.
Just a massive layout catch there by Kucharski.
Davis looking for Gordon deep. Couple of defenders giving chase.
And that's a beautiful shot from Swiatek. And then they continue to the end zone.
And a great catch by Roosevelt. Popping up in the air. Roosevelt goes up over everybody.
Soars through the air for that catch.
And there is a Callahan.
Hand block and got right back.
Now looking downfield for Larson. He lays out and makes an incredible catch. Seymour going for the big gainer, looking for it all. And Roosevelt lays out for Dinah. They're going to the mud.
With room and puts it up for Gadu. This is the kind of shot Roosevelt wants. And now the deep shot for Gadu. And she brings it in. It will be this year's 2019 High School National Invite champions.
Davis looking for Gordon right away. Roosevelt in the area. Roosevelt goes up. Gordon gets it going. Berkeley win the High School National Invite.
Responsible business is now sort of an essential facet of the future economy. Like, I'm talking like every business needs to start thinking about their social and especially environmental impact.
And if we look at all the problems that we have in the world today, they're not going to be solved by our governments and the not-for-profits. I think business has a really big role to kind of play. B Corp really kind of helps companies through the certification really understand that and kind of dig into their impact further.
And we are back. It is halftime between Roosevelt and South Eugene in the girls' finals. We wanted to shout out our Spirit Award winners, Lower Marion. They are from Pennsylvania. This is their first time at the tournament, so we are so thrilled to see a new team get celebrated as our Spirit Award winners.
Of course, being a Youth Ultimate event, Spirit is at the forefront. Want to make sure that players are keeping respect for each other in the game in mind, and Lower Marion exemplifying that here at this tournament.
And I think it's been a great testament that I haven't seen many like chippy calls or chippy games this tournament. And that's been really great to see that there's been so much spirit and so much appreciation for all of the teams here. As well as the awards are pretty cool. I think we'll be able to see those at the end for the trophy presentation. But the trophies are pretty cool. They made custom, I think, ski trophies for the winners of everything.
Because we're in Utah, I get it, because skiing.
Greatest snow on earth.
Are you a skier or a snowboarder?
I don't do
both?
either.
Oh, no, you gotta leave.
I know, they're going to kick me out.
Yeah.
I grew up skiing, and then I stopped in high school because none of my friends did it. And now,
so you did ski?
And now I have janky knees.
But you ski, like you could probably still claim to be a skier.
I've previously skied, but yeah, we can't say that too loudly, otherwise the police will come. But I appreciate everything else Utah has to offer, whether it's our beautiful national parks or hiking in the mountains.
Or some high-quality ultimate.
High-quality ultimate.
We've definitely seen plenty of that.
Also what Utah has to offer.
Green Canyon and Low Peak both making it into the bracket. Low Peak into the quarterfinals and very narrowly defeated in the Green Canyon making it to the semifinals in the girls division, and both teams making it to the semifinals in the boys division. Low Peak in the final coming up next after this one.
Yes,
the boys division final.
That's going to be a great final.
And they've looked very, very good. So the expectations are going to be high for them.
Yeah, especially with a hometown crowd. But yeah, it's been great to see such high-level ultimate here, whether it is from our own, from Utah local teams or teams coming in from everywhere. Though Eugene and Seattle are not necessarily far from Utah, you know, it's nice to see more cross-state play.
Yeah, your own, not my own. I'm from Connecticut now, and our girls' youth scene is still nascent, I should say.
It's in progress. I know, yeah, the Utah youth scene has seen a little bit of shrinkage in the girls division, but we've seen higher level ultimate. So still always trying to strive for growth and competition.
I will say I was actually pretty worried about how girls and women's ultimate, particularly at the high school and college level, would be impacted by the pandemic. And I think it isn't as bad as I had feared. So I think that it's still in a healthy place in the community, but obviously something we need to continue to be wary of. You know, things aren't going to grow just because you sit there. You got to make sure you tend to them. But.
Yeah, and I think a lot of smaller communities, we see this in Utah, that they rely on the top group of people to lead, organize, coach, or whatever. And so trying to also build a support base. You not only need players, but you need everything else that helps a player succeed. Whether that is coaches, parents who are involved, people who just buy the hotels for the tournament, everything from the top down. But we are here to watch South Eugene play Roosevelt in the finals. So Roosevelt is receiving out of half.
Roosevelt likely thinking about starting this half with a blank slate, because that first half was not the kind of half they would be hoping to play.
And we have North with the disc, looking for Gelfand. Back to North, who just overthrows Hakimi. And that's a turn. So we have Barres picking up. Over to Jones. Ooh. Gelfand tight, but let's see, Kaufman was able to bring that in after some contact. Kaufman maintains possession.
We've seen that type of poach block from Roosevelt get turnovers earlier. There, South Eugene able to catch it anyway. And again.
Yeah, I mean, I think that South Eugene is definitely getting smart to it. And I think we also have to be cognizant about how sometimes those poach situations can create some blindsides, and we do our best to avoid those at all costs.
I honestly wouldn't be surprised if a card is going to get issued here for that play.
Either warped or not.
Yeah, it looked like, I mean.
Change it for that reason. But once y'all are ready to go,
you
on.
need to switch it out, which they will not.
No call.
There's no call. We have Barres in the middle with the disc. Finds Jones. Oh, looks like there was a call. Uncertain.
Looks like there was some contact in the cutting space.
I think it might have been, honestly, between Gelfand and Nelson. Oh, never mind.
Foul call before back to throwing on one. No contest on one. It was no contest, so I'll be on one.
All right, Barres with a stall coming in on one, so 3 sets. Finds Bunsen, over to Jones. Where it's in, Jones with a very decisive spike. But yeah, that is a break for South Eugene. And I think, yeah, they're just really taking advantage of those missed throws from Roosevelt.
And South Eugene just does such a nice job of handling, even when Roosevelt plays with more defensive intensity. Even when there's a lot of pressure from these Roosevelt defenders, South Eugene is able to find options, and they're so good at moving the disc quickly that it's just tough to recover.
So yeah, it's hot out. Everyone's got to get some water, get some electrolytes. But it looks like South Eugene is getting ready to take the line. I think Bunsen has played every point this game, if not most points. I'm not going to check stats on that, but I feel like I've seen them out there for most every point. I feel confident saying that, which I think is a testament to how good of a player they are and how they can fill really any role on the field.
And I imagine also a testament to how the team played earlier in the tournament. You know, Bunsen just had to put as many miles on their legs as some of the other top-level players on other teams might have. Storing that energy up to be used in the semis and finals.
And it looks like as they get ready, yeah, it looks like Roosevelt has Chloe Hakimi back out there, as well as Snyder, Vivian Hakimi, Jaja Gelfand, and some others. And it looks like they are setting up in a split stack kind of situation, looking for Snyder deep, but Snyder can't get open. Over to Vivian Hakimi. Wow, and some great pressure there by Bunsen. Mertz is not able to get it.
I'm not sure if that's who Vivian Hakimi was throwing to, so it might have been throwing to Chloe, but either way, Bunsen able to take the disc away.
Bunsen with the disc. Over to Hendry Glasinovic. Bunsen on the upline power position. There they go. And the D by Zaza Gelfand. And Roosevelt has another chance.
It's got the fans excited. Zaza Gelfand with a nice emphatic block.
Yeah, that was a big block. And Gelfand has the disc now. Ooh, and just a low flick. And you can just kind of see players reacting to these turns, and you know that they can play better and are getting a little frustrated with themselves. And Bunsen just puts it to Hendry Glasinovic. Might have been a call. I'm assuming a pick. Oh, never mind.
I think just confusion. And
Yeah.
These kind of errors are piling up for Roosevelt. Just kind of mental mistakes. And it's tough to get out of your head once you start making those.
Yeah, trying to put so much pressure on yourself to value means that sometimes you aren't even thinking about the play that's going on. And Hendry Glasinovic is a player you do not want to leave open in the end zone. Yeah, just very easy, especially with Bunsen throwing.
And Bunsen has shown such a great ability to get up the line and use their body to get in front of the defender. And once they've got that position, it's really hard for somebody to recover and get back in front of them. And just getting that shoulder past the defender and then being on the attack, barreling into that upline lane has been really effective for Bunsen, even when we've seen really strong defenders covering them.
Oh. And Bunsen, once they get that upline pass, they are able to go. They want to throw it, and they want to throw it far, and they will throw it well, which is exactly what we saw. So, yeah, I mean, I love to see Bunsen on those uplines. It's really a textbook power position for them. And yeah, South Eugene having the whole team huddle up yet again, talking through some stuff, while Roosevelt is on the line. It looks like, yeah, they're still keeping Hakimi out there, Chloe Hakimi at least. Can't quite read the other numbers, but
it's a difficult situation as a team to figure out, how do we deploy our players, our personnel at this point. We need to make a comeback. We know that there's a lot of pressure on us, so we don't really have a lot of room to give up any more goals, basically. So, how do you figure out how to do that when you know that even if you go through the effort of making a run, you're then going to have some really crucial clutch high pressure points at the end.
Yeah, trying to balance that out is always hard, especially because you don't want to burn everyone immediately. Looks like South Eugene is still talking. Unsure if they just called a timeout or not, but everyone's dancing.
And the observers are over there, so I figure there's
there's something happening, but if anything, we're all in Funky Town. That is the song that's playing. I know you all can't hear this, but just imagine that's what they're all dancing to.
I'm sure this is what the kids listen to.
Oh yes, yeah. Everyone loves Funky Town. We have Bunsen again with the pull. We have North pulling down. Centering to Chloe Hakimi. Roosevelt in a vert stack. Hakimi unmarked.
But a lack of urgency from Roosevelt. I mean, if I get my best player unmarked, I want to do something valuable with it.
And that was a big put by number 12, Sam Mansfield.
I mean, back to that point, though, I think that even if you're Hakimi and there's nothing happening upfield, just reset the disc, because then you get to become an uncovered cutter, which is a lot more dangerous.
You can get more yards, yeah. And Bunsen with the flick over to Hendry Glasinovic, just off the hands.
I think that's maybe the first time I've seen that.
Yeah. We have Chagall over to Hakimi. Some tight pressure there by South Eugene, but Roosevelt still has it. Wow. And the layout goal. Let's see, I think that's number 13, or not 13, sorry, 20. We'll figure it out. But that was a great goal by Roosevelt. It looks like they're pretty excited about it. That's a hold, which is good. And I'm sure they're also excited to get back out on defense.
Yeah, we've noted that being on defense is where they want to be. It's where they feel comfortable. And obviously, to be in comeback mode, you got to be there anyway. But yeah, quite a catch.
Wow. Yeah, I think that was another toe the line to stay in the end zone layout.
Unnamed play.
Unnamed layout play.
To be determined, what we'll call that.
We'll do a poll.
But it is a goal and potentially the type of play that Roosevelt can use to act as kindling. They need a little spark right here.
They need a little pizzazz. Yeah, and everyone looked so happy for Roosevelt to score, which we love to see. So. And that was also, I think, yeah, still not a clean hold for Roosevelt, so I think that should be their next goal. Hopefully even after getting a break. So. Let's see who's back out there. Looks like Snyder's out. Chloe Hakimi's out. I think one or both Gelfins. Vivian Hakimi too. So Chagall Gelfin with the pull for Roosevelt. Jones picking up on that sideline that rolled out, but touched inbounds, then rolled out of bounds. They're able to get that off the line. Bunsen and that up line just dishing back and forth with Nelson.
Smart play by Bunsen too to spy that somebody was lining up a poach block to jump into there and just use a fake to move him out of the way.
And we have Hendry Glasinovic with the disc. And Roosevelt's forcing backhands, which Donahue will take advantage of. Looking for Bunsen.
I mean, that's a perfect throw.
And that is a goal.
10 out of 10, no notes. Perfect throw.
Perfect dab. Perfect dab spike.
Well, Bunsen's had a lot of practice with the dabs.
Yeah, they've been scoring. No, yet again, I think that just shows how quickly Bunsen's able to move around the field. They had the disc back in the handler space like a minute ago, and instead they're in the deep space receiving a beautiful huck from Donahue.
Yeah, when you see that the reset is Donahue, you got to make sure that there's not a cutter getting behind you at that point.
Yes. Yeah, Donahue has beautiful throws and is not afraid to use them.
Although maybe if you're Roosevelt at this point, you got to try and hope for some variance to go your way. A lot of it went against you, it felt like in the first half. So maybe just adding in some deep throws and hoping that the other team's going to miss is a potential pathway back into this one.
And I mean, I think Roosevelt has had pretty successful person defense against South Eugene. They're able to play tight person D and maintain their matches as long as they're conscious of it and are able to maintain that.
Yeah, I think the level of defense that Roosevelt has played in this game would stifle almost every other team that they've played. Yeah, they would be getting breaks, they'd be getting a lot more turnovers, they'd be getting a lot more blocks. But South Eugene's just not any regular team.
They're not phased. So we have Bunsen with the pull. We have Chagall with the disc. Over to Murphy. Up the line to Snyder. just off of Jaja Gelfin's hands.
And a great stutter step move from Zaza to get open there, but just can't finish the play.
And we have Jones deep. In the end zone, under tight D. I mean, I think that was great recovery by Gelfand. I think Gelfand was taking a moment after that turn, and Jones took advantage of it. But Gelfand was able to get back on Jones and at least almost make a play on it.
Yeah, Jones going up real strong for this catch. 2 hands just to make sure. Got the better position.
Yeah, Jones is an incredible receiver and is fantastic at reading the disc. So, yeah, I think Roosevelt is a little bit in their head. They have I don't know if we've been showing this on camera, but they have been like reacting to the drops really kind of heavily. And they, instead of just getting back on D, which I understand is something that's really hard. These are the finals. You want to play well. You want to play your best. And I don't think they feel like they're playing their best.
Difficult for a team to recover from, but at this point you're just looking to get back to level, to feel like, okay, this is how we could have played the rest of the game. And you can't really worry so much about the scoreline anymore. At this point now, we've gone from needing the right process to get you the right outcomes to, okay, let's just work on process right now, because the outcome stuff is, at this point, maybe a ship that sailed. If it is going to come our way, it's going to be because our process is good.
That's Frisbee, baby. But it looks like they've capped Chloe Hakimi on the line, as well as Chagall Gelfand. Disc lands out of bounds.
And given the rest that Hakimi's had during some of the other games of this tournament, I would be surprised she's calling her shot here. Coaches are basically saying, Chloe, you can play if you want to play.
Do what you want.
We trust you to know your body and know what's appropriate for you.
I wouldn't trust many 16-year-olds to know that. But we have Gelfand setting up in that center handler position. It looks like Roosevelt is in a horizontal stack, running an ISO play, but instead of just moving between the 2 handlers. All right, Roosevelt moving really quickly down the field. But South Eugene's able to get that block. I think there's just a little too much air underneath it.
Yeah, it got to put that further out in front and less towards the sideline, so that your cutter, who already has some steps, can just keep pushing towards the back line instead of having to come back towards you.
All right, so. Oh, and there we go. Number 2, Barnett gets it back after that D. So Roosevelt gets another chance. We have Chloe Hakimi picking up. It looks like Roosevelt's moved into a vert stack, but looking for Gelfand. Oh, wow, Hakimi. Oh, just a little bit of a misthrow there. Yet again, I think that was to Barnett.
You can see how much Marks are worried about Hakimi's very dangerous around backhand. She's had a couple of different Marks dive into the way of trying to stop that, just because they know that that's such a signature throw for her.
And we have Barres with the disc with a falling around backhand. A foul called. I was going to say that was a very low backhand.
It looks like it was uncontested.
No contest.
So it will go back to the thrower.
So that means I think the stall's coming in at 1. Looking at Bunsen. Or Jones at this point. I think there's been a bit of indecisiveness, but Jones has it now. Oh, with an upline to Barres. To Nelson. Back to Barres. To Bunsen, cutting. Ooh, and the run through D there. And she keeps going deep. But no, they haven't picked up soon enough.
Even if you don't get it, putting pressure on the defense is valuable.
Wow, and able to save possession. That was number 2, Barnett. To Hakimi. To Gelfand. To number 20, 5. That's Gigi Welsh with the score.
Gotta feel really good for Roosevelt to get that with some great defensive pressure, getting the blocks that they've been looking for. Nice.
Finishing, you know? All right, so looks like the teams are still talking. But yeah, I think that last point also showed some of the other players from Roosevelt that are talked about a little bit less. But I do think Mertz is really just a key player and has so much potential to grow in Ultimate.
Yeah, South Eugene is playing so well that it makes Roosevelt look like they maybe aren't as down as they are, but this is a very strong team that's had a very good tournament.
Offsides was called, I believe, on defense. So,
but to your point, Lee, I think that they're going to need a whole team effort to start to get some traction. I don't think there's any, even as talented as their individual stars are, I think it's going to take more than that.
And Roosevelt has set up in a zone look. It looks like a 3-2-2. And South Eugene has still been able to get those downfield looks. And Bunsen unmarked. Wow, and a very close attempt there. I definitely thought South Eugene would have gotten that. But number 17, Olivier, was able to kind of prevent the score.
Roosevelt's looking for that kind of look. They know that if they can get South Eugene taking shots that maybe aren't there, they could turn this game into a different type of feel.
But first, Maya Hunter got the D and also got the goal. So yeah, yet again, South Eugene kind of making quick work after these turns. I know.
That is Hunter with the
yeah, wow, that was a quick turn for Roosevelt that Maya Hunter was able to really take over that point, get the D, and then go immediately and score. So yeah, let's see, it's 13-6. We can take another look there. Yeah.
That type of poach block has been something we mostly see from Roosevelt in this game, but they're just the frustration probably overwhelming them a little bit after the turn and not able to recover for defense. And you know that South Eugene's never going to wait for it.
Oh no, they love to just pick it up and go as quickly as possible. So yeah, yet again, just it feels like, yeah, South Eugene has high energy still, working together. Roosevelt still just kind of maintained the same level of energy, whether that's good or bad. We can kind of see by the score. But I'm still interested to see what they can do out there. It looks like we have Chloe and Chagall out there for Roosevelt, as well as Vivian Hakimi. So got their top players out there.
Fans are vibing, though. You know, this tournament is as much a chance for these teams to claim their place as some of the best high school teams in the country. It's also kind of a celebration of Youth Ultimate, and you still see people make sure that they're doing their celebrating component.
I do think this is the first point that I have recognized that Bunsen is not on for South Eugene, and South Eugene coming down in a match D. With Hakimi kind of popped up, and Hendry Glasinovic is able to knock it down. It just floated for a little too long. We have Barres picking up over to Nelson. Over to Kaufman. And just a little bit of a low throw, a little too quick. Mansfield is able to get that layout D.
Love to see that players are coming in and still trying to make plays
And Mansfield was the player who got that toe the line layout point for Roosevelt earlier. Want to shout that out. I couldn't see their number.
Yeah, keep an eye on Sam Mansfield.
We have Vivian looking for Chloe, but I think there was a stall called. So, yeah, it looked like Vivian was holding.
After, that's okay. So have a conversation about it. Yes, yeah, it's okay. Okay. Okay, so players agree to contest. So just come in on 8.
All right, good discussion there. So Vivian maintains possession, but it is stall 8, which is not much time.
Yeah, we'll see if she decides to just look upfield or try and look backwards to Chloe. I'm thinking she's going to try and hit Gigi Welsh in front of her. But I'll tell you what, Henry Glasinovic knows that that's coming too.
Oh, instead, yeah, she decides to just put it downfield and say, well, at least they have to work it a little bit further. We have Jones with the disc for South Eugene, and a run through D by Vivian Hakimi.
All part of her plan.
And that was a big put by Chagall. And just a little too far for Vivian. That was a great look.
And it's just been that kind of game for Roosevelt. So much heart, so much hustle, but the execution part has just been evading them.
So we have Barres picking up for South Eugene. It looks like they're getting forced backhand. And a miss throw there. Nelson just couldn't get it. So knocking on the red zone door, we have Chloe picking up, kind of letting all of her teammates run past to get into that vert stack. Vivian on the upline. And Chloe had that step on that upline, but instead goes to Chagall.
Yeah, Burr stepping over on the mark to take it away and doing it again.
So we still have Vivian. Over to Chloe. And just floats out of bounds. And again, I think that was a good idea, just either the wrong edge or just a little too much power, but number 25, Welsh, could not bring it in. Just too far and went out of bounds. But Jones is picking up on that corner cone. Wow, Jones really extending on her pivot.
Gelfin making a call and Jones unaware, I guess.
It looks like there was a call on the field.
I believe Gelfin.
There's a contest on the contact call. That stops play. Okay. There's a contest on the active stall contact call. Here, there. Okay. Yes, so everyone's going to go back to where that throw.
So it looks like there was some contact.
So it looks like Jones still maintains possession of the disc. Everyone should move back to where they were when the disc went up, but that was a little while ago. So people will do their best to guess. And Jones with the around to Nelson. Was able to bring it in even though it was a little bit floaty. And just a missed throw to Kaufman.
South Eugene's been pretty sharp through this game, hasn't made a lot of these types of errors, so maybe fatigue setting in a little bit for them as well. They have run a pretty tight rotation throughout this game.
And yeah, Vivian looking off Chloe Hakimi on the upline, decides to go around. And wow, a layout D from Hendry Glasinovic on that inside throw.
Great reaction time to be able to get off her feet that quickly.
Yeah, wow. And not run into anybody. Wow. I think that was Madrone with the bobble save.
She used basically every part of her to get that catch.
Yeah. To Hendry Glasinovic. We're able to, South Eugene swings it around the field with Jones on the other side, and a grab by Chagall Chagall Gelfand over to Chloe Hakimi. So Roosevelt is attacking again. Pick call.
It looks like there was a call on the field. It will go back to the thrower. It looks like a pick was called.
So So Vivian Hakimi heads back to the stack. Perez said they were picked off, so they didn't have a chance to play.
All people go back to the arithmetic grid.
Get one!
Okay, on 6.
Wow, Chloe with a beautiful around to Chagall Elephant.
That's that throw that Marks have been so afraid of this game.
Wow, and a great grab by number 12, Mansfield. And it's just a low throw. So South Eugene has the disc again. Perez looking just downfield over to Hendry Glasinovic. Looking for Perez on the upline, he gets it. The drone in the middle of the field, no mark. No, nothing. For the Nelson. Wow, with a battle there, but Perez is able to get around Vivian Hakimi. Some slower cutting downfield for South Eugene, so they were kind of, Perez was trying to get the cutters going, and unfortunately a missed throw to Hendry Glasinovic.
Another really strong matchup defensive possession for Roosevelt.
Vivian Hakimi puts it up. And that is a goal. That was a long point. That was a great put by Vivian Hakimi, and that is Layla Zommers with the goal. It was a beautiful run by Zommers, able to kind of catch it pretty easily. And yeah, we can see Madrone with the bobble catch. And yeah, just the miscue for Hendry Glasinovic. But then Vivian just puts it up. No one near Zommers.
It feels like it's maybe the second or third huck that they've completed this game, and you love to see it coming from such great defense, that they are being rewarded for all of the effort they're putting in on defense.
Yeah, that was, I mean, a beautiful put. Happy to see them connect on a huck. And yeah, it felt like they were playing the game in a flow state rather than thinking about it. I feel like Roosevelt has done a lot of thinking in this game, which shockingly in Ultimate can mean a bad thing. Looks like Bunsen is back on the field for Eugene. Yet again, they were not on the field last point. And I do think that South Eugene missed them. They still have an incredibly deep and talented roster. And, I mean, I understand why Bunsen is a player they rely on. We have Perez with the disc. Over to Donahue, who puts it up. And Hunter's able to bring it in.
It's a great read by Hunter.
And Hunter kind of able to direct Hendry Glasinovic with her fakes to get the turn the page cut. And then, I wouldn't say easy goal, but a fast goal by South Eugene. That was a great grab by Hunter.
And Donahue getting bailed out by an awesome job by the receiver in this situation. Donahue showing off the power, but even then, it came up a little bit short, but Hunter just got a great read on it. The defender not able to get in position. Hunter secures it with two hands and then confidently makes the continued goal for the score.
Beautiful. Yeah, I mean, I think that just shows how quickly Donahue decides to make those big plays. They are someone who is willing and able to make those hucks at really any point in time, which I love to see, especially in a younger thrower.
Just one more goal for South Eugene could make them the back-to-back high school national invite champions. 2 for 2, if they can do it here.
I'm sure they'd love to get the back-to-back. That's really hype them up for those playing YCC this year. But we have Bunsen looking to pull. And it still looks like South Eugene is cycling some players through, and I don't see Hendry Glasinovic on the field right now. But we have Roosevelt. Looks like pole is out of bounds. We have North back there with Chagall Gelsand, who will be taking the disc at the brick mark. Roosevelt still has Chloe Hakimi out there, as well as Snyder and Mansfield, who we've talked about because she's been playing fantastically. We have North with the disc. Over to Snyder. With the up line to Gelfand. Puts it up to Lowe. Wow! That was a beautiful put, beautiful read, beautiful grab. So that's Lowe with the goal. And that was a beautiful throw. It was a little low, but it was able to hang long enough. This is Snyder.
A thin lane for Chagall to throw this into, but gave it a ton of snap and rotation, so it didn't get pushed at all by the wind. It didn't turn over. It just stayed flat and kept a high rate. So it got out in front of the receiver, and that was where the separation was, on that vertical axis, and the receiver's able to run it down for the score. Beautiful throw.
Beautiful throw. And was that the first clean hold of Roosevelt? You can correct me if I'm wrong or guess.
No, that is to my knowledge.
To my recent memory.
Our data says that is the first clean hold.
I called all the data people. They said first clean hold. So I'm sure that is a relief for them. Even though, yeah, South Eugene could win after this point, that they were able to at least maintain some clean holds or 8 clean holds and kind of find a little bit of rhythm.
Yeah, Roosevelt certainly been able to put some highlights on the tape in this one.
Yeah, it's still been an incredible game. So we have Chagall Gelfand with the pole. Jones picking up, centering to Burris. Over to Donahue. Bunson's wide open. Yeah. Okay. It might be a zone, so that's why. Yeah, it is a zone. My bad. But it is a zone-y look to kind of prevent those deep looks, especially with Bunson and Donahue out. But they're able to get some big yardage through the cup to Hunter, to Hendry Glasinovic. To Donahue. Over to Burris. With a break throw to Hendry Glasinovic.
South Eugene just a few yards away.
And that Jones scores. Incredible. So South Eugene are official winners of High School National Invite. An incredible game. I think they were able to show their depth. They were able to show their Frisbee IQ, and back-to-back champs. Oh.
And you can see the joy that this team plays with and the joy they have to reach the peak of this mountain again together.
And I mean, I think it's important to shout out that, yeah, South Eugene is a gender diverse team and how much it means to have gender diverse players in sports. And we're so excited to see them succeed.
Yeah, it's a team that certainly puts their values out there for everybody to see. And they play with a lot of love and care for each other. And on top of all that, very talented.
Incredible.
Very talented athletes.
Incredible players. Yeah, it feels like just there's so much joy out there for them. And I'm so excited to see that. And I'm excited to see how South Eugene and other gender diverse teams are able to grow.
Plus the kids are fire.
Yeah. I want to see Bunson dab Spike one more time. But yeah, we see Burris with the around to Hendry Glasinovic. And Jones with just the long upline to score.
South Eugene, another dominant run through this tournament where they were clearly the class of the division. They got a little more push from Green Canyon in semifinals than any other team has in their 2 times a high school national invite, but wow, this is a team that has done something exceptional in back-to-back tournaments.
Yeah, a huge congrats to South Eugene. Yeah, I think, yeah, it was interesting. South Eugene really, I think their closest game was against Green Canyon. And I think Green Canyon just had a very gritty game. And I think Roosevelt could have given them a little bit more if Roosevelt was able to play with a little bit more consistency. I think some of their processes, some of their mental game got in the way of them succeeding.
So South Eugene is your 2023 High School National Invite Champions in the girls division. Back-to-back for South Eugene with a 15-8 win over Roosevelt. Our final game of the weekend, boys final, coming up in just a bit.
Give it up for your 2023 National High School Champions, South Eugene from Eugene, Oregon. Tonight's gonna be a good night. That tonight's gonna be a good night. That tonight's gonna be a good night. Tonight's the night. Hey, let's live it up. I got my money. Hey, let's spin it up. Let's spin it up. Go out and smash it. Like oh my God. Jump out. We are excited to have the award ceremony right there in the middle of the field, so please stick around as we congratulate our 2022 and 2023 National High School Champions. And then we'll do it again. Let's do it, let's do it, let's do it, let's do it, and do it, and do it. Let's live it